Good morning. I'm joined by Minister for Transport and Roads, Andrew Constance, Assistant Commissioner Karen Webb from Traffic Command, and Peter Price from Crime Stoppers. And it really is an unfortunate but essential message that on the first day of summer, the first day of our traditional period of celebration, and certainly a period this year that we all deserve, we have to remind everybody that road safety is everybody's business. Of course, the campaign this year is going to focus on those things that impair our judgment, whether it be drugs, whether it be distraction, and of course, whether it be drink driving. We want to make sure that the drivers across New South Wales know that one fatality is one too many. Police, of course, have got the best equipment money can buy when it comes to monitoring road safety. And Minister Constance will talk about some of the technology that has been embraced by the RMS and Transport when it comes to making sure that if you think that you can get away with blatantly breaking the law, you just can't. And the appeal in this year, now that technology within cars is becoming more prominent and becoming more common, whether it be dash cam or the like, Crime Stoppers are always keen to see evidence of people doing the wrong thing, particularly those that are deliberately doing the wrong thing or are just being blatantly reckless. Minister Constance will talk about some of the statistics, but every year we stand up and we say, don't be the next fatality. Unfortunately, normally within hours of us saying that, there is another fatality on the road, and the vast majority of them certainly can be avoided. It always, as a local member, it breaks my heart when I hear about families that have had their lives ripped apart, particularly at Christmas time, because of a death on the road. This is going to be a time of celebration. Let's not make it a time of remembrance or memorial. I want to make sure that the record number, as we expect, the record number of motorists on the road this summer, know full well that they have an obligation, as much as the government has an obligation to provide safety and security on the road, motorists have an obligation to protect themselves, their families and their fellow motorists. And again, it is a tragedy that government and police have to every year stand up and tell people to make sure that they're aware of the road rules, make sure that they're prepared for their journey, and make sure that they avoid being the next statistic. I'll now hand over to Minister Constance.
Mr. Elliott. Look, bottom line is Highway Patrol are there to save lives. They're there to get people home safe. They're there to stop people doing stupid activities on our roads so that we're all safe. It's quite simple. And there's a mutual obligation on the part of the community with government to make sure that we don't continue to see the fatalities that we have. So I guess the message now is you can be caught anywhere, anytime, the moment you exit your driveway. Wouldn't matter if it was random breath testing, random drug testing, the mobile phone detection cameras, the mobile speed cameras. They're mobile for a reason, and that means that you can be caught anywhere, anytime, any place in New South Wales if you're doing the wrong thing by yourself, your loved ones and the community. We just want everyone to get home. It's quite a simple message, but everyone's also got to play their part. This year we've now seen 285 fatalities on our roads. Unfortunately, speed, which slots in under the dangerous driving category of the 4Ds, is contributing to around 51% of fatalities. When it comes to drink driving, here's a shocking statistic. Last year, 17% of fatalities were drink driving. Of that, 61 fatalities due to drink driving on New South Wales last year, 49 of them were in the bush. So country people think they can get away with it by drinking, taking drugs, not managing their fatigue, and speeding. And we're seeing just a terrible situation where over 2/3 of our fatalities are in the bush. And the other shocking statistic in all of this is around 11,000 people in New South Wales spend a night or more in hospital because they've been hurt in a car accident or hurt in a car crash. So for goodness sake, we've got to listen to what the authorities are saying, respect and honour our Highway Patrol, because they're out there to keep us safe. They're not out there for fun. They want everybody to be safe, get home, and stay alive. And that's why listening to what's being said by the experts is key, and also respecting many families who've now had to speak out publicly about their own trauma in order to get us all to do the right thing. That's something which is also very important. We've seen that from the Abdullah family this year alone.
Look, Crime Stoppers is a very well-known brand and very well trusted, not only in New South Wales but across Australia. It's a public engagement tool. That's what we're here for. We're here for the public to engage with us. And the best thing about engaging with Crime Stoppers is we don't want to know who you are. We just want the information. So this is the first time that Crime Stoppers has ever embarked on a highway patrol traffic campaign of this magnitude, of this importance, because we're asking every motorist to be our eyes and ears. Every motorist, whether you're in a car or on a motorbike. If you suspect something or you actually see something or witness something, we would like to know about it. Now, obviously, in case of emergency, you call 000, but if you witness distracted driving or suspected drug driving or suspected drunk driving, please call 1-800-333-000. We only want to know who you are. We only want to know the information, not who you are. You won't be invited to provide a witness statement or anything like that. But Crime Stoppers is there to make the community safer. We believe that with our Crime Stoppers brand, the community trusts us, and in this particular instance we were saying to them, look, the police can't be everywhere. You know, they say that every police car is a mobile RBT. So in this particular instance we're saying every car on the road, every motorbike on the road can help make the road safer. But we need the community to provide the information. Now, this is not just some harebrained idea that we've come up with, and the Assistant Commissioner will provide you with insight into the strategic business imperative as to why we're actually doing this. Thank you.
Everyone. Community safety is our number one priority, and we rely on the community as our eyes and ears. Traffic and Highway Patrol Command officers are around the state, a statewide resource, but they can't be every place every time. And we rely on members of the public to report bad driving. So whether that's, and this campaign is the 4D campaign, which is we're looking for information that we can turn into intelligence to inform us about distracted, dangerous, drunk or drug-affected drivers on our road. As has been said by the ministers, we want everyone to arrive at their destination, particularly across the summer and a holiday period. And the information that we get from the members of the public will help inform intelligence so we can target and prioritise our resources towards those repeat high-risk offenders on our roads. So we encourage people to call Crime Stoppers, 1-800-333-000, to report a 4D driver, a D-grade driver who might be drunk, drug-affected, dangerous or distracted on our roads. Thank you.
For instance, this is going to be rolled out in advertising. Are we going to see this 4D moniker used?
You will see more of the 4D, and as has been indicated by the Minister, that major contributors to serious and fatal accidents are speed, distractions, drugs and alcohol. So the 4Ds align with the major risks on our roads.
I guess it's obvious, but what sort of things might drivers be looking for? Swerving all over the road, people on the phone?
All of those behaviours, and as has been indicated, if there's an emergency, call 000, but we would ask that people call Crime Stoppers for those other behaviours where people are concerned, doesn't quite fit an emergency situation, but they want to provide information to the police anonymously so that we can follow up where we have circumstances where people are not driving according to the road rules and placing everyone else at risk on the road.
We've seen increasingly over the last couple of years when you do appeal for help, you do mention dash cams a fair bit. How big a role is dash cam in this?
It's another layer of information that is vital, and that sort of evidence is important. So if people have that available, we'd certainly be asking for it and can be supported with the report that they make. And we ask them to retain that so they can provide it to us as part of the package.
What sort of information is essential to police and Crime Stoppers, like registration or colours of vehicles or location? Is there anything else that motorists should be taking note of?
So the Crime Stoppers call centre will ask for that type of information, but yes, they will be asking for as much information as we can get out as possible, time, date and place as we call it, and accompanied by a registration number, vehicle description, anything about the occupants. The more information that we can glean, the more helpful that might be.
By asking community members to effectively become civil vigilantes and pull over and provide this information, is there not a risk that in itself will create a distraction and cause havoc on the roads?
we're asking that people obviously don't take risks, and they do it when it's safe to do so. So whether a passenger makes notes or makes a call, or whether they use dash cam or they call later on, that's okay. This is a call for members of the public to provide information where the people drivers are taking risks on road without putting their own safety at risk.
Might be one for one of the ministers. Just in regards to dash cams, are we getting to the point where the government would actually recommend people use dash cams, based on insurance claims, for instance, with traffic accidents?
Look, I mean, the government's got no plans to give that recommendation, but I guess the message is that around our community now, there's plenty of cameras. It doesn't matter if it's a passenger holding a mobile phone camera or a dash cam. And we saw a terrible incident involving cycling up in Newcastle. I mean, cameras are everywhere. So it does provide great video evidence through Crime Stoppers and the police to be able to follow up on the incidents. But we just need everybody to just, take some responsibility and slow down and don't be an idiot. Just take it easy. And yeah, the technology is helping, and ultimately it is helping with prosecutions. But at the same time, we want to make sure that there is this mutual responsibility of people not to do the wrong thing in the first place.
Minister, with the borders opening up today, there's some pretty crazy traffic on the roads. Is there any comment you'd like to make to that effect?
Be patient and work with the authorities. Everyone's keen to get to loved ones, but it could drive a little bit of impatience. But being impatient on the roads is part of the 4Ds. Either being distracted or being dangerous. So just be patient. And it's not worth, 10-minute travel time saving to find yourself in a hospital bed, or worst case, losing a loved one. So just take it easy. The authorities are there to try and make the road network work well between transport and the police. It's a border that shouldn't have been closed, I might add, at this point in time. But anyway, it is what it is. And we'll continue to work with the community to get people to their loved ones, particularly with that open.
Should it be the 5Ds? Because dobbing is quite a central part of this, to use an Australian colloquial term that we're not actually, in our culture, encouraged to do.
No. It's the 4Ds.
But you are appealing to Australians to dob on one another, aren't you?
Well, no. I think the key point is just, as indicated through Crime Stoppers, if you see something that's reckless and you can make an anonymous report, well, please do so, because it's in the interest of the other person in the car as much as it is in your own. But this is not a main part of our strategy here. I mean, our strategy is to get everyone to behave in the first place, and then unfortunately when things do go awry and people do behave badly, either taking drugs, drinking, being distracted, or driving dangerously, that is an opportunity for someone to report it safely to police, so that the authorities can handle it.
Do we need, though, a bit of a responsibility for
Can I just add to that? Yeah. So look, we are not condoning or enticing or inciting vigilante behaviour of any shape or form. Okay. So good neighbourly behaviour is what we're condoning here. Just like for the last 50 to 100 years, we've had neighbourhood watch in every community in Australia where neighbours look after each other. This is the same version of that, except it's on the road. So we're just saying to people, to make the road safer, everybody needs to play their part. That's what we're asking them to do. To make our neighbourhood safer, everybody plays their part. Crime Stoppers has been taking almost 10,000 calls a month just in New South Wales steadily for the last 2 years, and it's an upward trajectory. Those are all calls that relate to communities who want safer communities for their kids and for their families. So all of those people travel on the roads. They have a right to basically safe passage. And if the community can get behind that and support that, then that's great. That's what we're asking for.
You did mention that you don't need to identify yourself when you make that call. Why is that important?
Look, it's critically important because that is the premise of Crime Stoppers. With Crime Stoppers, we only want the information, not who you are. So when you ring us, we do not have caller ID. When you send us an email, it's fully encrypted. So we have no way of actually getting to the person who's provided that information. But as the Assistant Commissioner said, what we're looking at doing is getting bits of information that we can create intelligence, because we think that there are a lot of people on our road who are habitual offenders. And if we can get more and more information together, then we can actually target those offenders.
Well, the message to the hospitality industry is don't blow it. We've come so far when it comes to the ability for government to ease these restrictions, and I think most New South Welsh men and women see that we're about 80-90% back to normal. And nobody wants to blow that over the Christmas period, particularly not the government, because we want to make sure that everybody gets back to the economic activity that we were at pre-COVID. So the appeal is to the hospitality industry: know the rules and make sure that you comply by the rules. And of course the community has their own obligations as well, because hospitality industry, whilst it is important for compliance, there are always going to be situations where they can't be everywhere. And we saw that with the Golden Sheath Hotel when it comes to the lineup out the front beforehand. So people just need to make sure my advice to them is that they make reservations, particularly on New Year's Eve and Christmas Day, because if they make reservations, they're less likely to find themselves waiting or being forced into a situation which is not compliant. Absolutely, there is. The police are not walking away from issuing infringement notices. They will, and there are. I predict that over the course of the Christmas period there will be fines issued. But we're also, the cabinet is working very, very hard, particularly led by the Premier, to make sure that any restrictions that are there that don't have to be there are taken away. So also make yourself aware of what the current obligations are.
And just on yesterday's tragic incident at Surrey Hills Police Station, obviously this is something that's probably rocked the force.
Yeah.
Is there something that needs to be done to sort of change the culture or to just sort of stop these incidents from occurring?
There is an investigation, so I'm very reluctant to discuss that particular case, but the advice that I've got is there are unique circumstances, and the police do have a significant amount of support, whether it be within their own command and control. There are police chaplains, of course. There's peer support, and there is telephone services available if they want to talk to counsellors anonymously. So I'm not uncomfortable with the level of support rank and file police get. What I am uncomfortable is when people unnecessarily take it upon themselves to self-harm.
Another note, are you pleased that people won't be fined if they run the sprinkler and the fish gets to run under it?
As a suburban dad, as a Western Sydney MP, I'm thrilled to see the removal of these water restrictions. It couldn't come quick enough. The dam is at near 100%. It'll probably go beyond 100%. So as the first day of summer, this is probably the best Christmas present Gladys could give the families of Sydney.
Minister, a man's being charged over quite a horrific domestic incident in Fairfield yesterday. Terrible scene for officers to respond to. Are there any comments you'd like to make in regards to that?
This is that is a matter of investigation. I'll wait to see the briefing notes from the police who are involved in that matter. But I think again, this is a time of the year where unfortunately domestic violence spikes because of the tension that occurs within families and the alcohol consumption that occurs in the home. So my message this Christmas is the same message I gave last Christmas: keep your hands to yourself. You're not going to honour a loved one by thumping them. And we have a zero tolerance when it comes to domestic violence in New South Wales. Police have got very well trained domestic violence officers in every command, and quite frankly, every time I speak to a police officer that's been assaulted, you can bet London to a brick that in some way, shape or form, the incident related to domestic violence. Police aren't there to be thumping, to be punching bags. They're there to make sure your family is safe.
NRMA is campaigning today about kids in hot cars and saving their lives. Is it possible to break a window? Is that frowned upon by police if it comes to that?
No. I think that you don't need to be a police officer to save a life. I think if you call the police and they can't be there within a reasonable period, you've got an obligation, a moral obligation, a humane obligation to save somebody's life. And so I would endorse that campaign from the NRMA. I think that the fact that we in Australia, when we have days that are 40, 45 degrees people still leave children and pets and loved ones in a car is just mind-boggling. I mean, you wouldn't leave them in an oven, and that's what these cars become. They become an oven, and you know, one death of a child or a pet because of they've been locked into a car is one too many, and I find it to be actually morally repugnant that people would completely disregard the health and safety and welfare of a loved one by leaving them in a car. But yeah, if you see any living being suffering because the car is locked up and they're inside, well then call the police, call the NRMA, call anybody that might be an authority, and if no one's there quick enough, you really do have a moral obligation to save their life.
Question about, you know, what will be the marketing around this campaign. So we actually have developed a campaign around the 4Ds. It's actually launching today. It is primarily a social media campaign, and we look forward to people engaging that campaign and sharing it with as many people as possible.
Leave the kids out of it.